Calvin, first off, Trooper Jimerson, thanks for your service in law enforcement. Thanks to you and all your fellow troopers out there for what all you do.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, so you're one of the newer highway patrol troopers out here in the state.
That's correct, yeah.
Past couple years or so, huh?
Yeah, I started with the patrol in September 2017, and we do our academy first, so we swear in afterward. I swore in March of last year, so I've got just under a year as a sworn officer.
Now, did you grow up in the Billings area, or
I
where
did.
do you call home?
Yeah. I grew up around Billings, outside of Laurel, actually, and I've been in Billings for about 18 years.
And it's kind of cool. So you had more of a desk job before, and you're like, okay, I got to get away from a desk job here. I want to do something cool. So the highway patrol. What made you want to join the highway patrol?
You know, I've always had an interest in law enforcement. I've always appreciated the job that officers do. You know, it's high risk, but it's high reward. You know, you get to make a difference in people's lives every day.
Yeah.
And not that wasn't the case working at a desk, but a little less so, you know, a little less rewarding than what I get to do now.
You know how we roll here on Montana Talks. We try to get as much information as we can from a multitude of sources. So you know, literally sometimes I'll go to Twitter. I'll check out the MTWX. That's the shorthand version of Montana weather. I'll go to that hashtag. I'll see what the National Weather Service office is posting. I'll see what other, you know, weather forecasters are reporting, some of the meteorologists, you know, in broadcasting. But it's also cool because, you know, you'll see highway patrol troopers, you know. For example, I've seen a trooper out of the Bozeman area send out a picture from the top of the Bozeman Pass saying, hey, check it out, dangerous conditions on top of the pass. Be careful before you drive up there. It's cool to get that firsthand perspective that's out there. Well, Billings now has our very own tweeting trooper, Trooper Calvin Jimerson, with us here. So, yeah, tell us what you plan to do. You're going to be even on Instagram. I haven't figured out Instagram much myself yet here.
Yeah, I made the request when I asked our media team about becoming a tweeting trooper if I could use Instagram as well, because if I'm being honest, I prefer that platform. So they allowed me to do both, and I think it's just a great way to reach different kinds of people. You know, there's obviously people that are on one platform, not on the other. And so what we want to do is just do a lot of community outreach. You know, we want to show the community that we're involved. We're not just pulling you over and ruining your day. That we are, you know, getting involved in ways that help the community, that benefit the community. We also want to do the real-time alerts, you know, where we've got road closures, major crashes, things that are going to alter the community's day. You know, their travel routes may be closed or severely affected by, you know, slow traffic, lane closures, that sort of thing. We just want to be able to get that out in real time so that people have the opportunity to take a different route or slow down and, you know, help us investigate a crash, you know, that sort of thing. We've got to do that roadside, and those can be dangerous conditions for us, even with just one lane of traffic. So it's just kind of a way to let people know that we're out there working, we're in dangerous conditions, and, you know, there's stuff going on that might require them to take a different route or slow down and just assist us in that way.
What I like about it, too, is, you know, especially from a radio broadcasting standpoint, we want to make sure that we're putting out accurate and verified information out there. Anybody can spread what we jokingly refer to in the military as rumor intelligence, you know, but when we can get verified information, accurate information from authority figures like highway patrol troopers, now we know when we're retweeting stuff or sharing stuff on Facebook or sharing stuff on the radio, we know that, okay, this is coming from the highway patrol. So there's some, because otherwise you'll get a lot of rumors out there about what may or may not be happening in a particular incident or a situation. But it's not just for broadcasters like myself. I mean, the average Joe out there is in the same boat. They don't want to be sharing stuff on Facebook and then they find out, oh, it was completely false. Now, if they know they can follow you, they can put out accurate information.
Right. Yeah, and that's something we wanted to be on top of. It's especially frustrating when we're on let's say a crash scene, you know, a major crash, and you've got 3 or 4 different news outlets that are trying to call you to get the information. I'm hoping to help alleviate some of that pain for fellow troopers, where I can be on top of that information, get it out there for you know, for you, other news outlets to access, and that way the trooper on scene is just able to do their job without interruptions. And
how have you seen, you know, things like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? How have you seen that kind of been used very effectively here in Montana or elsewhere across the country?
Well, you know, I just started checking out the Tweeting Trooper program it started when I was in academy, and so just watching other troopers be able to live tweet events, or they have somebody ride with them, our social media manager who's live tweeting what they're doing. It gives people kind of a backdoor to what we see on a daily basis, and it's just cool community outreach. One of the things that I think it helps is to make us human again. A lot of people see us out there as just kind of this daunting figure, somebody who they don't want to see our lights in the rearview mirror, and they don't have a lot of interaction with us. And I think social media has helped to basically put a face on us again and say, let people know that we're human. The stuff that we see, the stuff that we deal with every day does affect us, and
it's
we
not
understand.
just traffic stops. It's not just speeding tickets and car wrecks. I mean, there's a whole host of other stuff that you got to deal with, from drug dealers and pushing drugs across the state. I mean, who knows what else,
Right. We see people's lives affected in major ways, more so than being inconvenienced by a traffic stop. We see people's lives being changed, and it does affect us. And we just want people to know that we're people too, and we see them in probably some of the worst situations of their life, and we don't take that lightly. It's something that we just want to give people that insight into the job.
So how do folks follow you? The folks who are out there that are on Twitter, Instagram, how do they follow you so they can get all the Billings metro area trooper tweets?
My handle is Trooper Calvin, and that's the same on both Twitter and Instagram. So whichever platform you use, you can find me there.
And I like to tell folks too, because we get some listeners like, I don't have Twitter. Well, you don't even have to have Twitter. You can go to twitter.com @TrooperCalvin and still see what you're posting on Twitter. So you don't have to have the account to just view the information that you're putting out there too. So I try to remind folks of that. Instagram, that's a different demographic altogether. And then I don't know, I haven't even tried to think about Snapchat or anything yet. I'll leave that to the FM jocks down the hall,
Right. Yeah, we're not there either. That's definitely a way of getting news instantly, but we're spreading out a little bit just by going to Instagram. So I feel like I'm really pushing us in the right direction, getting the news onto multiple platforms.
All right. Trooper Calvin Jimerson with the Montana Highway Patrol, your Billings area tweeting trooper. So we'll look forward to seeing more of your tweets, although I got to just warn you ahead of time. The K9 guys are always going to get more retweets than you. They're just, people like the K9s.
Yeah,
so.
that's my that's my little ace in the pocket there. I've got a K9 officer. I'm going to be
Oh, you're a K9 officer too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just one of our other troopers, and I'll be abusing his dog.
Tag along. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me borrow Fluffy from you for a few minutes here.
Yeah, I'll be using her for some exposure there.
I love this story out of the Billings Police Department when they had a K9 go in because there was some meth head who was sitting at the kitchen counter, broke into this house. There were a couple young girls that were home alone, and so they did the right thing, call police. Police show up with a K9. Well, anyway, I think the dog's name was like Nancy or Sally or something. Took out the meth head. Well, it didn't take him out, but got him out of the house. So
there is a K9 in Billings named Susan.
Susan. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Susan the K9 took the meth head out of the house. So.
Great name.
Yeah. Well, and the Billings Police too. Just last night, they had a scary situation where a woman was forced into a vehicle at First Avenue South and South 27th Street.
Very close here. Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night, led to a pursuit. Officers were able to stop that vehicle and get the suspect taken into custody. And so Billings PD tweeted that out last night. So you can also follow the Billings PD @BillingsPD on Twitter. Trooper Jimerson, pleasure. Thanks again for your service.
Aaron.
All right, good to see you. And definitely make sure you say thanks to the rest of your troopers out there too. And